Hey guys, just wanted to take a few moments to talk about a couple things before we dive into today's episode and the series as a whole. When I first started this podcast series with the class of 2010 from Western Alamance, I never imagined it had the potential to become something meaningful. While recording and wrapping up the conversations, we did lose two members of our Western Alamance class, Jonathan Swarsigan and Jenny Strickland. I did have the pleasure of having Jenny on the podcast before her passing, and I'm grateful her story has the potential to live on in this space. Her episode will be released at a more appropriate time at a later date. This project is more than looking back. It's about recognizing how fleeting time can be, appreciating the people who've shaped our lives, and not taking a single moment for granted. So I implore you, if there's someone you've been meaning to call, catch up with, don't wait. Reach out, say the thing. You never know when it might be your last chance. So this one's for Jenny, Jonathan, and everyone else. Thanks. Welcome to the Cooler Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Smiley. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. If you're not so new, welcome back. As always, Cooler Conversations podcast is the audio culmination of cool stories and the coolest people. Today is a continuation of the series that I'm working on where I interview people from my class of 2010 from Western Alamance. Today's guest was voted most popular in the yearbook Senior Superlatives. Today, I'd like to welcome Zac Macaneney. Zac, how you doing?
Tyler, thank you. Kind of embarrassing when I hear you say most popular is a superlative, but thanks for having me. I'm doing well. It's good to see you, man. Looks like you're doing well as well. So thanks for having me on.
Thank you. If it means anything, you definitely earned it. I did research before the pod, and you definitely had like 15 photos in the yearbook.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's funny, man. No, yeah, high school was a blast. I enjoyed every second of high school. But it's crazy when you say 15 years ago, right? And now that you say it, did we ever even have a 10-year reunion? Because if so, I didn't hear of it. So I don't know if that even happened.
No, I definitely didn't. I think that's part. So it's part of the genesis of this. I think with social media, technology, everyone's already like basically connected.
Yeah.
So there's not like a huge like want. I think the words want. I don't think the words need. I think people just don't want to connect,
Sure.
either with like some sort of idea about high school or whatnot. But it is insane when you think, 1-5 as far as years between.
No kidding, man. No kidding. I think I'm hitting my 10-year college graduation like reunion. So like I have these same types of conversations with my college buddies. Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, you talk about most popular and things like that. That's kind of funny, but yeah, it's cool project that you're doing. I'm super stoked to be part of it. Answer any kind of questions that you have, and let's talk about it, man.
Yeah. So let's go back. 2010, flip phones, right at the beginning of like Facebook use. Where's your mind at? What were you thinking? Where'd you think 2025 was going to look like? Do you have any ideas about the future?
Uh,
Yeah.
man, it's hard. It's hard to even go back. So, I was a big sports guy, right? Baseball was really all I was doing at that time. I thought I'd be the next baseball superstar, which didn't really happen. Um, but that was where my mind was at back then in 2010, on the ball field. And I went to college to play ball, so that's what really kept me busy throughout that year and those years throughout high school for sure.
Did you play baseball? Oh, is it all 4 years?
Yeah. So I played baseball all 4 years at Western Alamance, and I'll keep it on Western. We won't even jump into college stuff. But actually,
We
it's
can.
funny
We
that
got 15 years to fill.
we've got some time to fill. Well, it's ironic that we're talking about this right now because actually, 20 minutes ago, before I jumped onto this podcast with you, I received a phone call from one of the coaches at Western Alamance, and I haven't talked to him in, man, maybe 15 years, right? It's been a long time since we've even spoke, and
Hmm.
they're actually honoring the head coach because it's 30 years. He's retiring from coaching baseball at Western, and he's done it for 30 years. So they're doing like a ceremony for him next Friday at Western Alamance,
Oh
which
wow.
I just heard about, and I will hopefully be at with my family. So yeah,
So who was the coach back then?
it was Lance Huff.
Lance. Okay. Okay.
Yep,
It's
Huff. Yep.
my memory is I was trying so one of the things I was trying to do is like try to remember if I've had classes with anybody, what all the teachers' name were, and obviously 15 years being like a whole lifetime ago.
Yeah, he was so Lance's he was the PE teacher. He was the head baseball coach back when I was there. And he's a great guy. But yeah, they're honoring him next Friday at the field. I think it's a 7 o'clock game. So I'm like, man, I haven't been to a Western baseball game in probably 15 years. And when I was like, hey, why not? Let's get out there. Let's see what it's all about. So that'll be fun.
Do you have any because I know we had again I didn't follow any of our sports. I was a swimmer and then I played lacrosse just because that
Hey,
was the cool thing to do.
yep.
Were we good?
So back in 2010, we were very good. We were never known as a baseball school, I guess,
Okay.
but we did have a good year that year. We had a few guys that could play a little bit. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what kept me busy. Um, yeah.
Have you kept up with any of it since? Like, and the reason I ask this is I've talked to a couple people already, and they they've either switched into another gear as far as like a competitive drive or trying to stay fit. I wasn't sure because for me, like I found swimming again later in adulthood, so I wasn't sure if like maybe you're playing softball, any continuation of like that muse.
So great question. I've shifted over to golf for my competitive juices, which is not very fun. It is fun. I love it. It's very fun, but it's I'm not nearly as good at golf as I was at baseball, so it's frustrating at times. But yeah, I get out there with the guys, some of which were at Western with us, some of which I stay in touch with that live here in the area. So we get out there on the golf course every now and then, and that's what's taken over the competitive juices for sure.
Okay. Okay. Are you as good at golf as you were baseball?
Not even close. Not even close, man. I have my moments. I'll have a couple good moments here and there, and then a few more bad moments. But it's fun. I've gotten significantly better over the years. But when I first started, it was embarrassingly bad, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not quite embarrassing myself out there, but it's nowhere near good, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
understand that. It seems to be as we get older, we're just constantly trying to chase that youth again. And I say that as like probably 50, 60-year olds are going to be like, I wish I was 30 again.
Right. Yeah, I still feel the youth, man. I do. I still feel the youth. I feel good, and like you mentioned, trying to stay active and stay in shape. So I do that too. I try the best I can to stay in shape, which is hard when you work, you have kids, exercising doesn't, fit into the schedule as easy as it used to. But try to stay active. I try to keep youthful, travel as much as we can. We try to have a good time. So I'd like to say I still feel like I'm back in 2010 sometimes, but
Yeah,
yeah, not as much.
I feel you. Do you, and this is a popular question so far, do you still feel, or do you feel like an adult?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. Like, I think so, just because of all the responsibilities I have, right? I think
Hmm.
that I certainly do. However, when I do have a chance to step away from those responsibilities, I love to just cut it up and bring the youth. Like I can jump into that mode where I feel youthful again, right? So I do have that in me. Now it doesn't get to happen, that doesn't happen often, but yes, I feel like an adult 90% of the time, but I think there's that 10% of the time where I can cut up and get out and get some me time. That still exists in there as well for sure.
That's awesome. You might be the
Yeah,
first one who said they actually feel like an adult. I think a lot of people
man.
paused in their 20s.
Man, I feel like I mean, there's so many responsibilities, so much stuff going
Yeah.
on. And I've got two girls now, two daughters. So they're keeping me busy, keeping me on my toes. One of them's 5 already, right? So like I have a 5-year-old daughter who's negotiating with me, right? She's doing math and
Yeah.
literally negotiating with me. So I feel like I am the adult here. I need to be the adult here. So yeah, I feel that for sure.
Does it and I'm sure this a lot of parents will say this, does it like flash before you by like as fast as this time went in about, obviously in about 10 years, you're going to be right at this point what we're talking about now with your daughters.
It goes. I think it goes faster for me. I mean, once they were born, time I think like doubled in speed. It seems like it's going even faster than it used to. So, like you were talking about earlier when we were chatting about just living every moment. You never guaranteed the next. So that's the
Yeah,
mindset that I go into it with everything. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah,
Going back into the high school realm,
yeah.
what so like because it's funny because again we're different people than we were. What were you listening to? What movies were you watching? TV shows? Like what was your vibe back then? Is it the same? Is it different? Where you at?
Man, I was all rap. I think back then, right? A lot of Lil Wayne. The early 2000s rap and hip hop was I had my name all over that. Um, Movies, that's a good question. I can't even really think of what movies were popular back then.
So
Um,
we had Avatar that just came out,
yep,
blew
yep,
everyone away with 3D. We had Clash of the Titans. I'm literally just remembering like the summer or the right before we
yeah,
got in. This is
yeah.
the stuff I was watching. Um,
Avatar's big one. Clash of the Titans. Yeah, it's hard for me to remember the movies. Music, I guess I remember more so than the movies.
mhm.
Um, but that has changed now. Like I'm not as much into the hip hop. I'll still listen here and there, but I listen mostly to like country and like classical rock right now, more so than hip hop. So yeah, that's changed.
You've become an old head. You
I've become an
go
adult,
from
I guess, is what we're saying. I'm becoming more and more of an adult the more we speak. Yeah, seems
That's
like it.
funny. It's funny the amount of people who have transitioned from Little Wayne to country.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, every now and then I'll put on a hip hop song and a rap song. I guess maybe I like the older, the early 2000s hip hop more so
Yeah.
than I think the new rap right now is I think where I'm at. Yeah.
So you don't have any Billie Eilish on there. You don't got
I,
any.
I like Billie Eilish.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you say so? Kind of again in the same light. What was your when you were 18? Just graduate. This is the verbatim the same thing I said to everyone else. You're walking. You got your cap and gown. You're walking down the stage. You just heard Kayla McCloskey tell us to throw our hats.
Yeah.
Where'd you see your life going?
Man, I think at that moment, all I could think about was going to the beach, right? We did like that whole beach trip
hmm
after graduation, so I was super pumped about that. I knew I was going off to Virginia Tech, so I was also excited about that, which I think I maybe went a little early. Um, so yeah, I was just super pumped, right? All the emotions, all the excitement, nerves. There were some nerves in there. I think you're thinking about which friends you're going to lose contact with, which ones you're going to stay in
Yeah.
touch with. Because that was for me, man. I went to college. I don't think one person from our high school or maybe one. There might have been one or two who went to Virginia Tech, right? And I met totally new friends, totally new people that freshman year. So there's a lot of nerves along with the excitement for sure. Um, but again, I thought I was going to be the next big, great baseball guy. So that was really the top of mind for me. And just all the excitement, all the nerves that go along with it.
Yeah. Was there a like and pause me if this is like too nuts of like a question, but like was there a point when you were like baseball's not it? I'm going to transition and this has been the life point going in.
Tyler, there's no question that's too nuts, man. With
Okay.
what I do, there's no
Perfect.
such thing as a too nuts of a question. And yeah, I think there was a moment, and it was actually not. I guess it was like 15 years or 10 years ago at this point. That was at UNC Greensboro, which is where I finished up my college, and I graduated from UNC Greensboro and I played baseball throughout my time there. And I had aspirations to play past college, and I had some conversations with folks about that, and I thought it was going to be an option. I thought for sure that would be an option, and there was a scout actually for the Yankees who I was speaking to pretty regularly, who flat out told me like, "Hey, we're not going to call you, we're not going to draft you," and that was I think the moment when I was like, "All right, like, I could have went and done some independent ball or maybe overseas and done this and that. And I was like, I need to go make some money. I had a girlfriend at the time who's now my wife. I wanted to keep that going. So that was the moment. I remember I was sitting on the couch at our little baseball house with my buddies and received that text. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get a job. Like I have to go get a job. This is gonna happen. So that I remember that moment pretty vividly. Yeah.
Gotcha. Would you change your trajectory knowing where you are, or are you glad that you went through that?
I'm glad. I wouldn't change it for the world, man. I wouldn't change it for the world. It made me who I am. It put the people in my life that are in my life right now,
Yeah,
and so many memories. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change a thing.
that's a good answer. It's hard. Everyone likes to play the idea of like if you had a time machine, but then that completely. I mean, it's like the butterfly effect. It completely changes the trajectory that you wouldn't be who you are. It's a
Yeah,
completely different person.
man. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
would you do you have any advice then for your past self? And then I'm going to flip it even more. This is an interesting go around. Do you have any advice that you would like to give yourself from the future to today? Like, let's go
Okay,
15 years back, 15 years forward.
so who am I going first? Who am I giving advice to
Let's
first?
go
My younger self?
past because that's the
Okay.
best, easiest one.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to sound old again, but probably to take things a little bit more seriously, right? Not party as much, which it's easy to say now because through college, you're doing the party and you're living the social life, right?
Yeah.
I had a cool opportunity in front of me. I would tell myself back then, hey, take things a little bit more seriously. The partying's not worth it, right? But at the same time, I don't know because like it's the butterfly effect, right? That's I've met the people I've met. I still stay in touch with them. One of them I'm married to. So the butterfly effect. But I think that's probably the advice I'd throw myself back then.
Okay. Then, shooting forward, any
Mm,
advice that and it's basically stuff that you probably already have in your head, but like you have an idea where your trajectory goes.
yeah, man.
It's a deep
That's a
one.
tr- that's a deep one. That makes that's some critical thinking right there. Um, I'd say, man, that is so tricky.
I've heard
That
this and this might help. So it's the funny thing is typically the advice that you give yourself for the past is the exact same advice that you consistently give yourself.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. I think I'd give very similar advice to take things serious. You kind of like we were talking about earlier.
Hmm.
Cherish every moment. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. You've got a beautiful thing in front of you.
Yeah.
Soak it all in. It'd be very similar to the advice forward or backward. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. You might be, so you're coming across as somebody who might be a rarity in our generation. I feel like we are, and I might be completely wrong on this, but I feel like, so millennials are tended stereotyped to be completely like nostalgia baited. Like they're constantly trying to drive the craze. I mean, you're seeing like a lot of our culture, a lot of like children like an adult form, any of that still latch on a little bit? Like you still got like a Nerf football in the back, you got an old collectible.
Man, yeah, I'm weird. I'm just, there's a lot of like I have baseball cards, right? Like I collect baseball cards, which is
Nice.
probably not a typical thing for a 33-year-old, right?
That's actually
Um,
very typical. That's what I'm getting
you
at.
you think yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I collect baseball cards. Well, every now and then grab a tennis ball and just throw it off the wall like this when I'm working and work. I'm sitting at my work
Hmm.
office right or desk right now, and like I'll just start throwing a tennis ball off the wall when I'm bored. So yeah, that definitely hits often. Yeah.
Yeah, they say we are, they call it, it's like a man child thing, but it's very nostalgia bait. Like you're seeing a increase of like Pokemon card sales again, which is something we haven't seen since like we were in
It-
elementary school.
yeah.
Baseball cards are back. Like they got the superheroes on TV. It's nuts. Everything's geared towards trying to pin down the nostalgia.
Yeah, I see that. I see that out there too. I talked to some buddies who the Pokemon stuff, the baseball cards, yeah, all of it. I've seen it for sure.
It's crazy. It's crazy how much it's worth. You could buy a house with those Pokemon
Actually,
cards.
so I go back and forth. I give my mom shit all the time. Can I cuss? Can I say? Is that okay if I
Go
say
for
shit?
it, bro.
Is that okay?
Go for it. We're
Okay.
adults.
So I give my mom shit all the time because I had like a binder of Pokemon cards which she threw away because they sat up in my
Oh.
closet for like a decade without me touching them. And
Mm-hmm.
and the one day I was like, "Hey, where's that binder at?" And I wanted to look through it. She's like, "Oh, I threw that away." And I was like, "Oh, well, you owe me like $300,000, so you can write me a check." And I always give her shit about it. So
I'll
you know.
take my inheritance now.
Yeah. Go ahead and give that. Yeah, give that over to me. Yeah. So, but you're right, man. It's crazy to see. I don't know. Do you play any golf? Do you do any golf? Because like that seems to be the popular. Like all the guys I talk to are just wanting to talk about how good they are at golf, how good are that this and that. Which I think they all lie. Like I think they all lie quite a bit about how good they are because no one's that good. And you go play with them, and then they're not that good. And it's okay to like, in my opinion, it's okay to say I'm not that good, man. I'm out there
Well,
just
it's
trying to
I'll
have
be
fun,
honest with you. I'm not that good.
Yeah.
I went driving with Heath Talley last year,
Yeah.
and oh my god, I sliced the hell out of that thing. I
Yeah.
was just hitting up
All right.
dirt. I
Yeah.
mean, it's never been my cup of tea. I've always wanted to. I'm really good at putting. Like, and I know
Yeah.
that everyone will say that they're good. I'm good at putting,
Yeah.
but I can't drive. I'm a decent wedge, good at putting. I'm the opposite.
That's good. That's a good place to start though, because those are the tough parts of the game, putting and the wedge game. That's the tough part. So if you can figure out your driver with just a little bit of practice and be fine. But
That's what he said.
that's yeah, that's it right there. Is he still around, right? Heath, he's around. He's a cop, right? Isn't he around?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's over
Cool.
here. He's over here in Gibsonville.
Cool. Cool, man.
He's gonna be mad at the podcast I just had with him. It's gonna lead into this one.
Lead into this one. He's like, "Oh God, talking about me slicing my driver." But no, yeah, I'm here. I'm in Elon, so not too far off. So we're here in
Okay.
Elon. Been here for we've had this. Ooh, just knocked my headphone out. We've been in the same house for I don't know 6 7 years or something like that. So we got very lucky with the real estate and all the craziness that's been going on with the real estate. We timed that pretty well.
Yeah.
My wife, she works in Greensboro, and I work in Durham. So this is a nice kind of splits our commute in half pretty well.
Yeah.
And I get the pleasure, the luxury of working from home most of the time. So I'm here, man. I'm here all the time and driving the
That's
kids to
sweet.
school and all the things.
It kind of goes. So I've had this like general theory, and I think I haven't coined this. I'm pretty sure like Heather Morton did, or I can't remember. I've heard it from a real estate agent, but
Yeah.
like this is the ultimate mattress counting where you come here, you lay your head, you work somewhere else, but this is where everything is. This is where it's growing. This is where everything's popping. That it's funny enough. This actually leads into a question that I had
hmm
pinned up. Are you ultimately surprised by the overall growth we've seen, or were you expecting it?
I would say I'm surprised, just because fast forward or rewind, I guess, rewind back to 2010, that senior year in high school, and it looked a whole lot different than it does now, right? I never thought
Yeah,
it would get to where it looks. I mean, there's so much traffic. You drive around Church Street at 5 o'clock. You have to
it's
plan
nuts.
double of the amount of time that it used to get from point A to point B. So no, I would say I'm surprised at the growth, but I'd also say it's a good thing, right? For all of us that are here. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah,
It's definitely a double-edged sword because it's like
yeah,
you want to grow in the community, and then you get priced out,
yeah, yeah.
gentrified in your own county.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right, man. And I don't know. I guess people. I don't know if a lot of folks come down here from up north. People are retiring down here. I know Raleigh's exploding. So
Hmm.
maybe even folks that like work out in Raleigh, I think, get real estate out this way.
Yeah.
Greensboro, the same thing. So I think we're just kind of that center hub. So yeah.
It's funny. Like it's funny you called it the hub. I've been trying to workshop an idea of like trying to bridge some sort of like commerce thing, and the hub was an idea as far as a name, but I
Oh, I
can't
get.
grip my hands on it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. It's I keep using this example, and people have heard it in the other episodes. I knew we were exploding when and this is actually beforehand, but if you look at just the intersection of Church Street and Huffman Mill, and you see two grocery stores right across the street from each other, and I always think back to when Five Guys was first in the area. They went under because no one was going there. They couldn't get enough. And then the Habit Burger shows up, and then Five Guys shows back up and shuts them down because now there's more population. It's
Yeah,
insane
yeah,
around here.
it is. Well, they just popped another cookout, right? We have two cookouts like within 50 yards of each other.
Are they
Um,
not closing that one?
are they? I don't. Yeah, it would make sense. I was surprised
I
that there
thought
were
they were
two
doing the
open.
Taco Bell move with the
Oh, really?
cookout.
Okay, okay, that would make
Anything
sense.
to anything to block that Dunham's sign.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and then I'd like a healthy option, right? Like it's either Cookout or Taco Bell. We're seeing all of those pop up.
Hmm.
Would like a some kind of healthy option. That's the business idea right there. I don't know if you've seen the I think call it like the Martini Golf Sports Bar here, where you can it's a golf simulator bar where it's a bar you can get martinis, and they have a golf simulator that you can
Oh,
hit.
is that the one? It's across the street from the Food Lion on Church
Yeah,
Street. Yeah, yeah,
right where that Hershey's barbecue is. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I haven't been over there. I didn't know it was a golf simulator.
it's cool, man. It's a fancy little place, and you don't have to like we could go have a good time without even hitting on the golf simulator. You can go just grab a drink, and it's cool, like kind of uppity vibe in there. So it's a cool little spot. Check it
Have you
out.
been to like downtown Grand, like Fulks and Fitzgerald?
I have. It's been a while. We always go down there to do like we do like Christmas photos downtown Graham at some
Oh,
studio,
the
and we'll
family
pop out
stuff,
and yeah, yeah,
not the
family
adult
stuff.
stuff.
Not the adult stuff, man. It's actually we actually just got back. We had a nice guys beach weekend last weekend where I got to go and be youthful for a few days without the kids, and
Nice.
a few of my buddies went out. We have a spot out in Atlantic Beach that we like to escape to every now and then, and me, my brother-in-law, my father, we all went in three ways on this small little like podunk, just very comfortable. Like it's not nothing fancy. It's just like a go
Hmm.
escape type area at the beach. So we were able to get a guys weekend out there, which was, man, it was great.
That's pretty sick. So you honestly going in the same direction then, especially if you guys have beach property. Are you seeing the growth of North Carolina out that way like the rest of us are, or you have you found the one nook that doesn't have the populace?
It is the one spot we're at in Atlantic Beach. It is, I think, smaller. It is. I don't think it's not the Myrtle Beach, right? I think Myrtle Beach
Hmm.
probably has experienced that weird kind of growth. Atlantic Beach, where we're at, is more of the family, like locals. Now, of course, in the middle of June and July, it gets crowded.
Yeah,
But if you go there right now, if we drove there right now, we'd be the only two people at the bar, right? Like it's just locals
yeah,
there. So it's an interesting place. It's fun. Um, yeah, it's a fun spot.
yeah. We always go to Topsail, and it's the Surf City right down the road from it is it's exploding. I know. I just saw where they're like adding like a convention center or something like that, and I was like, all
Yeah,
right, there goes
yeah.
the beach.
Most of them are. Most of them are. So far, Atlantic Beach has still stayed kind of like hole in the wall bars, and like like one of the most popular bars there is all cash. Like it's like kind of like an old school all cash bar. So far
Hmm.
it's keeping that vibe, that beachy vibe. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. So getting back into like the generational stuff, and this is another interesting point I find with us as far as like a generation, a class. Like I said at the beginning, we were kind of at the beginning of Facebook. We had MySpace early on, and then since then, like I think we were like one of the last classes of high schoolers who were not chronically online. Um, do you like as far as technological growth, do you have any reflection on that? And the reason I bring it up is like we're hearing things, now that we can't even comprehend. If you told my 18-year-old self that we were going to have artificial intelligence and we were going to have calculators on our phones and all these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, no, you're right, and it kind of scares me a little bit. I think I'd rather it the way we were, but I kind of hesitate to say it. That I kind of hesitate. Like I'm kind of torn, right? I
Hmm.
use the new technology every day. I use it every day for work. I use it every day for pleasure, whatever. So it's kind of tough to say. I like it, but I do. I like the way we grew up. Like I do appreciate the way we grew up without it. I do think it
Yeah.
helped us form into the way we are. are.
Hmm.
With the young kids we have, I'm going to really. It's hard, right? It's hard not to hand them a tablet when they're crying, and you can get them to stop crying by handing them a tablet. But
Yeah.
I try not to, right? Try to keep them busy with other like, let's play with this or that. So I do think about it, but I use it constantly. I'm always on it. I'm looking at my computer screens right now that I work on every day. And when I was 18, I never would have thought that I'm sitting at this computer with computer screens for work I would never think that,
Yeah.
you know, but it pays the bills. So,
Yeah.
you know,
100%.
yeah,
It's
it's
yeah,
crazy.
I have that same reflection. It's like on one hand, I have so much more opportunity. Like there's no way in hell I was going to start a podcast by going to the radio station and going all that. But now, you can do it on your own computer, you get just a mic. But then on the same end, it's like I go, it's funny you said like you want to go back in time. I have this like this funny thought of like how the Amish, they like stopped time in like 1850, right?
Yeah, right,
Like
right.
I imagine like future like 200 years from now, they're pausing religion is going to be like 2008. It's just going to be flip phones, a like dumb Camry, and they're just going to be vibing out to like Nicki Minaj.
I wouldn't mind that. Like, I think that'd be good. I think that'd be a good thing. I really do. I think so. What do you think? Do you think that'd be a good thing?
It's hard for me to tell. Like
Yeah,
on
yeah,
on
it
the one
is.
hand, I'll be honest. If you it would just be funny to know there was like a small community of just 2008 Amish. Like, but on the same end,
That would be
on the
funny.
same end, I'm excited. Like there's a lot of doomers. A lot of people are dooming on the like AI, but then meantime, I use Chat GPT probably every single day, whether it's
Same.
like my own
Yeah.
personal Jarvis to like bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
Um, we're getting now self-driving cars. That'd be kind of dope. Maybe we could finally get like a high-speed railway so I can go to California in like 4 hours.
Yeah.
That would be, these things would be dope. But
I agree. I agree.
I have a feeling we're going to get the most boring futuristic theory where it's just going to be like another social media app,
Right.
and
Yeah.
our kids are going to be addicts.
Yeah. That's the scary part. But no, you're right. There are really cool opportunities out there, and I don't know. Maybe they're out there. I don't think I'm hearing of them all. Maybe they're in the works right now, right? But I don't think I'm not as on top of it as I would like to be. I'm
Yeah.
on Chat GPT every single day too, right?
Hmm.
But there are people out there who know way more about it than I do. That's for sure.
But I think you also have a different vested in it. Like I don't have kids, you have two, so like you have a little bit more of a cautionary tale to it. Because on the same end, like I think about it all the time. I'm like, I don't even know if I have kids, I don't want them on social media. Like
Yeah. No kidding.
I
Yeah.
don't want to give them a phone. I don't want.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you that I'd rather have like they'll be 2008 Amish until they're about 16. That's kind of where.
That's I like that.
Hmm.
I'm with you on that one. They have phones. They created like cell phones for teenagers now that are, keep them off social media where you can. I have a buddy at work. He actually has like a teenage son, and I always ask him like, how are you handling the phone stuff? And he told me about it. And this sounds a little crazy. Like, I don't know if I would go this far, but he gave his son a phone, right? And every
Hmm.
text that his son sends, like, he receives a notification. Like, he can see the text message conversations that his son is having, which I think that's a little bit far, right? But all of these things are
Yeah,
out there for those reasons. Yeah.
that's true. I mean, it's on one hand, it's like I kind of get it. Like our kids are gonna have to deal with like deep fakes, and the signatures are off. Like it's on one hand, like I don't know. I've kind of now I'm going to switch my argument. Now I kind of am afraid.
Now you're dooming and glooming.
I
As yeah,
am.
now you're dooming and glooming. No, I think it'll be good. I think it'll. I don't know. I've always heard it's not ever as good as it seems, and it's not ever as bad as it seems. Right? It's always kind of
100%.
steady Eddie, right in the middle is how I like to think about it. Never get too high, never get too low.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have any, since we're going into like future, do you have any future projections? Let's say in 5, 10 years, what's you don't have to, and we're not going to get into the stupid global anything like, but as far as like technological advances, what do you want to see?
Mm. Well, cars are dope, like you said. Like
Hmm.
the way that cars have developed is crazy, right? We're if not already there, very very close to like a self-driving car. I guess we tried it with trucks. Did that not work out? Weren't there trucks that were self-driving, and maybe that was very short-lived? I don't know.
Like you're talking about like the packages, like
Yeah,
truckers. Yeah,
yeah, I think
semis.
there's semis, right? I think we're getting close to like that. I think in 5 to 10 years, maybe vehicles travel will be different, right? Like you mentioned with the, there, Elon's always talking about quicker ways to get to whether it be Europe or California in 4 hours, like you said.
Hmm.
I do think that will happen, which is exciting. I think that's great. Um, Planes, it'd be cool if they made planes a little bit more comfortable, right? Like I don't know why we still sit in like super
Just don't crash them.
uncomfortable.
That's all we ask.
They don't crash them and like make them like more comfortable without having to pay like for a crazy arm and a leg for a private jet or whatever. Like there should be safer, more comfortable airplanes. I feel like
Yeah.
that's what I think. Travel will look different in the future. Is my call.
That's an easy. I think it's a safe bet. I think people are honestly. I don't think people want to drive. I always read where like the Gen Z and Alpha. Well, Alpha's still children, but like Gen Z, they're not driving. They'd rather
Yeah,
just somebody take them, which I kind of
take
vibe
them.
with. I'm kind of vibe
Yeah,
with.
I go back and forth. I always like to drive. I like to have control. I can jump in and leave and go as I please.
Hmm.
Um, but it is nice to be the passenger every now and then for sure. So
Yeah. Well, Zach, this has been a fantastic conversation. Is there anything you want to shout out? I know you. I mean, if you have any like socials you want to shout or any like charities, anything that you want to just throw emphasis to?
no socials or anything like that. I do a lot of the charity through United Way. I do that through work. You know, the United
Okay.
Way is where we do all of our community service and things like that. But no, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you having me on. This has been a fun experience. I've never, like I mentioned, I've never been onto a podcast before, so it's been a lot of fun and can't wait to listen to the episode. Give us a little rundown on your what's coming up with the project. I want to hear more and more about the project if I
I
can.
I will tell you after I
Okay, fair
stop
enough.
hitting record.
Fair, fair
Keeping it
enough. Fair
under.
enough. Yeah, cool. I like it. That's fair. That's fair.
Well,
Cool. Well, thanks, Tyler.
absolutely. Guys, that was Zac Macaneney, and this was the WAHS, Western Alamance 2010 rundown. Again, this was the Cooler Conversations podcast. If you haven't, hit us up on all the socials. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Instagram, Facebook, all that jam. As always, Cooler Conversation is the culmination of cool stories and the coolest people. Catch you later.